Bronny James will save the NBA. The NBA is struggling with viewership. I think the NBA, if they're smart, they know all the hype that Bronny's getting right now. He scored 2 points and the whole entire city of LA went crazy. Cleveland went crazy. The internet was going crazy over Bronny James scoring his 2 points, his first NBA buckets. With the NBA viewership declining, they put out some reports. The NBA's best bet, go ahead and put the Lakers on as much as possible on primetime television. That can be TNT, that can be ESPN, that can be NBC, whoever. You want to make sure you're promoting Bronny James and the Lakers as much as possible. They're a huge draw right now, even without Bronny. As long as you got LeBron James, you got JJ Redick, you got Anthony Davis, the whole media circus around there, just having the Lakers on primetime television is good enough. But with Bronny James being on the bench, will he play tonight? He may play tonight, depending on the score. That's going to help the NBA viewership. Things have been declining just because of linear television. A lot of people are cutting the cable cord. They're moving to streaming platforms like the FanDuels. They're doing the NBA packages. So it's just so much stuff that are away from the, your traditionals, the Comcast, the DirecTVs, all that stuff. People aren't doing that no more. So I'm not sure, are they able to calculate how many people are watching on these streaming services? Is that a factor? Or are they just including the traditional linear television? But the NBA, they have a lot of work to do. They just signed a huge TV contract, streaming services, all that for $77 billion. But you're losing customers, you're losing viewership. So again, the NBA, a huge draw. You got Bronny James. Are people still going crazy over Victor Wembanyama? Was that just kind of a one and done thing? He's in San Antonio, not really getting a lot of hype. He's always going to get coverage just because he's a 7'5" unicorn. So of course people are going to tune in. But I think more people will tune in more to watch Bronny James on the bench as opposed to Victor Wembanyama struggling with the Spurs and losing by 20 points. It makes sense. It makes a lot of business sense having the Lakers on as much as possible. When you're a huge draw like the Lakers, you're probably going to have 30 to 40 primetime games per year, but you got to increase that. Games to where they played the Cavs. Even though Bronny scored 2 points, they decided to put Boston versus the Pacers on TV, which turned out to be a great game. Overtime, I think Jason Tatum had about 37. Brown had about 25, 30 or whatever. Siakam hit that game-sealing three-pointer in overtime. So it was solid, but I think the NBA world, the viewership, what really matters more, they would have preferred to watch Bronny James score that 2 points, being on the bench, having the camera pan out every other play to Bronny James on the bench, sitting next to LeBron James. So the NBA, it's obvious that they're pushing this Bronny thing. Why not push him on primetime television? It makes sense. You got to do what's best for business. Got to do what's best for those dollars. So yeah, you want to have everybody get their shine, like the Pacers, the OKC Thunder, Victor and the Spurs. All that is cool. You want to hype up your stars, but you got to know what really counts more. And that's Bronny James scoring 2 points a game, being on the bench, and hoping that he can get into the game. That's going to do a lot more for the NBA as far as viewership as opposed to those other players. Of course, you're going to have multiple games on TV, but one out of the two have to be the Lakers. Either that 7 p.m. slot or that 10:30 slot. It'd probably make sense to make sure the Lakers are playing at 10:30 p.m. so the West Coast people can have a chance to, watch those games. But it is what it is, man. The NBA, again, they know what they're doing. I'm sure they had struggling moments to where viewership was lower. But again, with the addition to the streaming services and the decline of linear television, those numbers, they're not just going to get better. But we're going to see what happens moving forward, see if there's going to be an increase in the viewership. It's still early on in the season, but they're trending in a bad direction. So again, man, put Bronny James on TV every day. Put the Lakers on. Who cares? Flex out those games that don't really matter. There are going to be some trash games going on. Don't put those teams on TV, especially the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid is injured. Paul George is injured. They don't need to be on primetime television. They don't need one of those ESPN slots. You take them out, you fill them in with the Lakers if they're playing that night, or other teams to where there's a rivalry, beef going on, or a playoff matchup, and now they're going to be playing again in the regular season. So those are the games you want to make sure that are on prime time. We don't need to see a team to where their stars are injured and you just got a bunch of role players going at each other. That's cool, get your money, but that's not going to make sense for the NBA long term as far as solving this viewership issue. Like, subscribe, comment. What do you think about the decline in viewership for the NBA? I want to know your thoughts about this. Like, subscribe, comment. Peace.